Yeah. So we discuss about this 6 characteristics of pure devotional service: Klesagni, Subhada, Moksha, Laghutakrt, Surtulabha, Sandrananda, Visheshatma, Sri Krishna Akarshani Chasa. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1170. There are 6 characteristics of pure devotional service. It destroys one from Klesha, that is called Klesagni. It's a Subhada. Subhada means it's most auspicious. Moksha Laghutakrt, it's derived the impersonal liberation. So Durlabha, rarely achieved. Sundarananda Vishwasatma, it puts one practitioner to the uh, transcendental happiness. In Sri Krishna Akarshani, it attracts even Lord Krishna. So last time we discussed about Subhada, we completed. So today we are going to discuss about Moksha Laghutakrt. So Moksha Laghutakrt means Moksha Laghu means small, or it has lesser value than other things. So when we are talking about Moksha Laghutakrt means Moksha is Laghu in front of the devotional service. So those in pure devotional service deride even the conception of the liberation. Okay. So we can nicely see from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, very nicely explained in the chapter 1 that yeah. So yes. So Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. So people, in the moksha stage, they get happiness. Moksha means freeing from this material bondage, material suffering. So that is called moksha. Srila Rupa Goswami, so basically become happy at the stage of moksha, free from the bandhan, all the bondages. So Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed the different sources of happiness. He has divided happiness into 3 categories. You can see happiness derived from material enjoyment, that is called happiness. One happiness. Second is happiness derived by identifying oneself with the Supreme. So that is Sayujya Mukti level happiness. And another happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. Okay. So he writes again in the Tantra Shastra, Lord Shiva speaks to his wife Sati in this way: my dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda. Okay, before we'll go. So these are the happiness Srila Rupa Goswami has analyzed. So there are some modern psychologists or psychiatrists. They have defined the happiness. H is equal to P plus E plus M. I don't know whether I have told this or not. But H is equal to happiness. H is equal to P plus E plus M. If I have told, then please tell me that I have already mentioned, so I will not spend time there. So his name is Martin Seligman. He is from some professor from some university in USA of psychological study. So one day he took his student for watching movie, and after watching movie he didn't say anything. Next day he took them for helping orphans. So after after 6 months he didn't speak anything. So after 6 months he was reminding the people that do you remember we went for watching movie? So no one movie, kya movie? Oh yeah, that's something they remember. But as soon as he said, do you remember we went to help orphans? Then immediately, oh yeah, it was very nice experience. It was really a happy moment. Some people said. So then he concluded that happiness P means happiness derived from the pleasure, sense gratification. That is called pleasure of senses. So that is P. So that is called karma. Then helping others is a meaningful life. He defined M means meaningful life, helping others. So like that is called dharma. Dharma means we are not talking about here paro dharma. It's about dharma, serving others. So what is dharma? Serving. What is paro dharma? Yato bhakti radopsaja. That is paro dharma. Sabe pumsa paro dharma is Yato bhakti radokshaje. But what is dharma? Serving, seva. So serving others, by serving others you get happiness. So by serving others, whatever happiness you get is much better than happiness we get by sense gratification. That's what he concluded. So between sense gratification and serving other dharma, he put economic development. So economic development you get happiness, that is much better than pleasure, kama, but it's not up to the happiness you derive from helping others, serving others. So basically, happiness as he defined is equal to P plus E plus M, where it's mathematical form, where M is much greater than E, much greater than P. So now he is the materialist. He doesn't know, he didn't read scripture, but he has reached the conclusion of the scripture. At least 3 portions, kama, artha and dharma. But since he is still at the mental speculation level, he cannot define moksha. So that moksha is given in our Shastra. So even the happiness derived from serving others is much lesser than happiness we get by liberation. Okay. So then, but happiness derived by the liberation is very, it's a fraction of happiness we derive by serving Krishna. Okay. So that's the point. So that's what he says, my dear wife, a person. So Shiva is telling to Lord Shiva is telling to Mother Parvati. So my dear wife, a person who has surrendered himself at the lotus feet of Govinda, who has thus developed pure Krishna consciousness, can very easily award all perfection, can be very easily awarded all the perfection desired by the impersonalist. So this mukti, what is that? Jnana and Vairagya are the byproduct of bhakti. So liberation is also byproduct of bhakti. They will automatically get. That's what he's telling. So they will get all the benefits which is derived by personalist. And beyond this, he can enjoy the happiness achieved by the pure devotees. So that is the reference of Tantra Shastra. And again, it is mentioned happiness derived from the pure devotional service is highest because it is eternal. The happiness, it is said, someone who gets Sayujya Mukti, those who have impersonal conception, what happened that since they are not actively involved, they are like in an inert state, they are not actively involved in some activity. So that's why they come back to earthly planet, and they, as a philanthropist, they open hospital, school. That's still at the material platform. They open hospital, but it's not Krishna conscious hospital. I mean, it's not a spiritual hospital. I mean to say that its hospital is not meant to deliver the people from material bondage, samsara davanal. So that they are opening the hospital to deliver the people from sickness and all those things, just to help them at bodily level. Education, that education is just at the level of eating, sleeping, meeting and defending, not more than that. They may provide khana, but not Krishna Prasad. It's not on the stage of that level. So they come and do the philanthropic activity. So again they come back. So that's what happiness derived from pure devotional service is highest because it is eternal. So that happiness derived from even moksha, that Sayujya Mukti is not eternal. They have to come back here. So the happiness derived from material perfection or understanding oneself to be Brahman is inferior because it is temporary. There is no preventing one's falling down from material happiness, and there is even very chance of falling down from the spiritual happiness derived by identifying oneself with the impersonal Brahman. So identifying oneself with the impersonal Brahman. So spiritual happiness derived by identifying oneself with the impersonal Brahman is Sayujya Mukti. So that's why Prabhupada writes that it has been seen that great Mayavadi impersonalist sannyasi, very highly educated and almost realized soul, almost realized. So what is the almost? Not fully. So what is the missing factor? Almost realized means they know they are not body, they are soul, but they consider themselves as a god. They don't consider the god as a separate existence. That's a missing point. So very highly Mayavadi sannyasis, very highly educated, almost realized soul, may sometimes take political activities or social welfare activity. The reason is that they actually do not derive any ultimate transcendental happiness in the impersonal understanding, therefore must come down to the material platform and take such a mundane affairs. There are many instances, especially in India, where the Mayavadi sannyasi descend to material platform again. But a person who is fully in Krishna consciousness will never return to any sort of material platform. However, the word is used who is fully in Krishna consciousness. So, however, alluring and attracting they may be, he always knows that no material welfare activities can compare to the spiritual activity of Krishna consciousness. That's why I think yesterday, sorry, means last session we discussed that Krishna consciousness is highest welfare activity. That's what we discussed. So now here is discussing different siddhis. I think I read little bit, not fully, but anyway, let's read that. So mystic perfection achieved by actually successful yogi are 8 in numbers. So there are 8 kind of siddhis. Anima siddhis refer to the power by which one can become small, but he can enter into the stone. He becomes smaller than small. So this is very important. Listen carefully. The modern scientific improvement also enable us to enter into the stone because they provide for excavating so many surface penetrating the hills, etc. So Anima Siddhi, the mystic perfection of trying to enter into stone, has also been achieved by material science. So whatever siddhis we achieve, very important, by Sahyajya impersonal liberation is already achieved by modern science. Already achieved by modern science. Okay. That's what he's saying. Nowadays, by so many metros are coming, they enter to the stone, excavating the hills and all so many things. Similarly, all of the yoga siddhi or perfection on material arts. For example, in one yoga siddhi, there is a development of the power to become so light that one can float in the air or water. That is also being performed by modern scientists. They are flying in the air, they are floating on the surface of the water, and they are traveling underwater. So, submarine, ship, and spaceship, then airplanes. So, this is already achieved. So, after comparing all this mystic yoga siddhi to materialistic perfection, we find that materialistic scientists try for the same perfection. So, actually, there is no difference between mystic perfection and materialistic perfection. So there was one German scholar once said that so-called yoga perfection has already been achieved by modern scientists, and so he is not concerned with them. He intelligently went to India to learn how he could understand his eternal relationship with the Supreme Lord by means of Bhakti Yoga and devotional service. So this is the point. So there are some other described. So I'll just read this thing. There is no need to explain. But if you can't understand, you can ask me. Of course, in the category of mystic perfection, there are certain processes that material scientists have not been able to develop. For instance, mystic yoga can enter into the sun planet simply by using the rays of sunshine. This perfection is called Laghima Siddhi. So they can enter into any planet. Similarly, yogi can touch moon with his finger. Though the modern astronaut go to the moon with the help of spaceship, they undergo many difficulties, whereas person with a mystic perfection can extend his hand, touch the moon with his finger. So Prabhupada has written this thing in Easy Journey to Other Planets. That book he wrote before he went to USA, even before starting the writing of Srimad Bhagavatam. This siddhi is called Prapti or acquisition. With this Prapti siddhi, not only can the perfect mystic yogi touch the moon planet, but he can extend his hand anywhere and take whatever he likes. He may be sitting thousands of miles away from certain place, and if he likes, he can take a fruit from the garden there. This is a Prapti Siddhi. So then other point that so basically, he's comparing what mystic yoga can do and what materialistic scientists have achieved. That comparison is given. So modern scientists have manufactured nuclear weapon with which they can destroy insignificant part of this planet. But the Yoga Siddhi, knows as Isita, one can create and destroy entire planet simply at will. So another perfection is called Vasita. By this perfection, one can bring anyone under his control. This is a kind of hypnotism that is almost irresistible. Okay. So sometimes it is found that yogi who may have attained little perfection in the Vasishtha mystic power comes out among the people and speak all sort of nonsense, control their minds, exploit them, take their money and goes away. So people use this thing for what should I say, getting name and glories and take money and whatever. Okay. So then there is another mystic perfection which is known as prakamya, magic. By this prakamya power, one can achieve anything he likes. For example, one can make water into his eyes and then again come out from within the eyes. Simply by his will, he can perform such a wonderful activity. So then highest perfection of mystic power is called Kama Avasaita. This is also magic, but whereas the Prakamya power acts to create wonderful effect within the scope of nature, Kama Avasita permits one to contradict nature. In other words, to do the impossible. Of course, one can derive great amount of temporary happiness by achieving such a yogic materialistic. Prabhupada writes nicely that, so generally, we can see so many babas and all those things. Sorry, I'm using such a words, but so many sadhus, they are showing the magic and people get enamored by them and they go and spend so much money behind them. So foolish people, so someone asked Srila Prabhupada, can you, okay, you are pure devotee of Krishna, can you show us magic? So then he said, see, these American white elephants are dancing in front of me. They are wearing dhoti kurta, women are wearing sari. Is it not magic? It's a great magic. So that's what he answered. So you are not seeing this magic. So foolish people who are enamored of glimmer of modern materialistic advancement are thinking that Krishna conscious movement is for less intelligent men. No, it's not. It's for very intelligent people. So I am better, most intelligent people, not very. I'm better off being busy with my material comfort, maintaining a nice apartment, family and sex life. These people do not know that at any moment they can be kicked out of that material situation. So due to ignorance, they do not know that that real life is eternal. The temporary comfort of the body are not the goal of life, and it is due only to darkest region, darkest ignorance, and that people become enamored of glimmering advancement of material comfort. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has therefore said that advancement of material knowledge render a person more foolish because it causes one forget his real identity by its glimmer. This is doomed for him because this human form of life is meant for getting out of material contamination. By the advancement of material knowledge, people are becoming more and more entangled in material existence. So they become more and more entangled. So they are highly empowered by material knowledge, but they are not empowered by integrity. Okay. So they have no hope of being liberated from this catastrophe. Okay. So in Hari Bhakti Subodha, it is stated that Prahlad Maharaj, a great devotee of Lord, prayed to Narasimha Dev as follow: my dear Lord, I repeatedly pray unto your lotus feet that I may simply be stronger in devotional service. So this should be our prayer. I may simply be stronger in your devotional service. I simply pray that my Krishna consciousness may be more strong and steady. We should pray this daily. Because happiness derived out of Krishna consciousness and devotional service is so powerful that with it one can have all other perfection of religious, economic development, self-gratification, even attainment of liberation from material existence. So these are called four purusarthas. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. These are called four purusarthas of Vedic life, Veda. Dharma, Artha, Kama, and Moksha. So Prahlad Maharaj is saying that by devotional service, all perfection can easily be achieved. Everything, including liberation. So that is the point. And actually, a pure devotee does not aspire after any of this perfection, because the happiness derived from devotional service in Krishna consciousness is so transcendental and so unlimited that no other happiness can compare to it. It's very high. He said that even one drop of happiness in Krishna consciousness stands beyond the comparison with the ocean of happiness derived from any other activity. So it is said, when you go to Vrindavan and the thorn enter inside your leg, so happiness you derive by the thorn entering inside the leg is so very, millions times better than the happiness we get from impersonal liberation. So when we go to Govardhan Parikrama, Kartik month is coming. So we should try to, get that thorn inside the leg. Don't do that deliberately, just I'm saying. So it is a thorn when enters inside our leg in Vrindavan, and whatever happiness you get by that thorn is million times better than happiness someone derived by impersonal liberation. Okay. Thus, any person who has developed even a little quantity of pure devotional service can very easily kick out all other kind of happiness derived from dharma, artha, kama, moksha. So there was a great devotee of Lord Chaitanya known as Kolavacha Sridhar, who was very poor man. He was doing a small business selling up cups made of leaves of plantain trees, and his income was almost nothing. Still, he was spending 50% of his small income on the worship of Ganges, and with the other 50%, he was somehow living. So one day, Lord Chaitanya went to Kolavacha Sridhar. He was so poor externally, and he told that, Kolavacha Sridhar, I know you are a very rich person. You are so much opulent, but so much opulent. And Siddhar said that, oh Lord, I don't have any material opulence. But he was very happy. Kolavacha Sridhar was very happy in his present position, and he just wanted pure devotional service into the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya. So that is the position of pure devotional service. So then one day Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and disclosed that, that whatever, so if they can engage 24 hours each day in the devotional service, they do not want anything else, not even happiness of liberation or becoming one with the Supreme. Okay. So that is the point. In the Narad Pancharatra, it is also said that any person who has developed even a small amount of devotional service does not care a peak for many kind of happiness derived from dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Any kind of happiness derived from dharma, artha, kama, and moksha cannot even dare to enter into the heart of pure devotees. It is stated that as a personal attendance, even forget about personal liberation, devotees are not interested even in other four kind of liberation: samipya, sarupya, salokya, and srashti. They are just interested in bhavtat mama janmani janmanisware bhavtat bhakti rahetu koi. Birth after birth, they just want the costless devotional service unto the Lord. Ahetu koi. So it is stated that personal attendants and maid servant of queen follow the queen with all respect and obeisance. Similarly, the joy of dharma, artha, kama, moksha follow the devotional service of the Lord. So wherever there is a devotional service of the Lord, dharma, artha, kama, and moksha is already there. They automatically come. That's why it is said in the if you go Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 14th chapter, Tatvenu Kampa Susamikshamana, that verse, prayers of Lord Brahma, he says, Tatvenu Kampa Susamikshamano, Bunjan Eva Atmakrutam Vipakam, Vidavag Vapubir Vidathan namaste jive tayo mukti pade sadaya bhak. So Sarvam Bhattacharya once he has changed this mukti pade word to bhakti pade. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked him, why did you change mukti pade to bhakti pade? So earlier Sarvam Bhattacharya was impersonal, Mayavadi. Then he, in the association of Lord Chaitanya, he became Vaishnava. So now he has developed allergy from the word mukti. So he was not liking. He was thinking that there is something wrong in this verse. So he changed to bhakti pade. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that don't change that word because it is a shastra written by Vyasdev himself. So better not to change. So then he says, but here the mukti pade word can be taken as a different way also. So mukti pade means the lotus pit where mukti is taking a shelter. So that should be the another meaning. To the position of liberation, and mukti pade means the lotus pit whose center is taken by mukti. So Vishnu's lotus pit. So mukti always stays at the lotus pit of Lord Vishnu. So that I read in Chaitanya Charitamrita sometime back. So that is the meaning. So that way also we can take. Okay, so mukti will automatically follow when we are doing service. The mukti, all those things, the dharma, artha, kama are the servant of the Lord. So in other words, pure devotee does not lack any kind of happiness derived from any source. He does not want anything but service to Krishna. But even if he should have another desire, the Lord fulfill this without the devotees asking. So that we can see the example of Dhruv Maharaj. He wanted to have a kingdom higher than his great grandfather. So Lord Krishna, purified the desire of Dhruv Maharaj, that he gave a kingdom higher than his great grandfather. But now the Dhruv Maharaj has better understanding. He didn't utilize it for his own sense gratification or to satisfy his ego. Okay, so that's why we can see Dhruva Loka. So that's about Moksha Laghutakrt. So we saw that. So difference between moksha and mukti. So mukti ritva anyatha rupam swarupena vyastita. So 2.10. So it says that 2.10. Says nirodho syanusayyanam atmana sah sakti mukti hitvanyatha rupam swarupena vyastita. The merging of the living entity along with his conditional living tendency. The mystic lying down of the Mahavishnu is called a wind up of all cosmic manifestation. Depression is permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he give up the changeable gross and subtle body. Anyway, so we'll discuss. So here mukti and moksha. So moksha is more about Sahyuja Mukti, and mukti is beyond that. Okay, so we already discussed that all this follow, like this the dharma, artha, kama and moksha, they follow as a maid servant of queen. So we don't have to worry about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. We just have to engage in pure devotional service. Okay. So Pruthuru Vacha says, Varana Vibhotvat Varadeswarat Buddha Katham Hrinite Guna Vikriya Atmanam Narakanam Api Santi Dehinam Tan Isa Kevalya Pate Vrune Nacha. So, oh Lord, how can an intelligent person ask for benediction from you? The Lord who gives all benediction, O Lord of repression, I do not ask for those material benedictions which are easily available even for the people in hell, since you are order of the liberation. So liberation is even higher than other material things. Okay. So then it is said in this Prachinya Bharishat story, न काम्ये नाथ तद अपि अहम क्वचिन न यत्र युष्मच्चरणं भुजस्वः महात्मा अंतरारितयं मुख शुतो विदस्त्वा करणायुतम एसमे वर. I do not desire anything, and especially I do not want liberation in which there is no nectar of your lotus feet coming from the heart of great devotee and falling from their mouth. Give me millions of years. That is my request. So here he's saying that they don't want even liberation. Then this is another verse. Sa uttam slokam mahan mukha jyuta bhavat padam bhuja sudka kana nirha smrutim punar vismrutha tattva vartam manam yogi nam no vitarati alam vareha. So he says, "O most praised Lord, the topics falling from the mouth of the great devotees, or even the wind touching a drop of nectar from your lotus feet, even the wind touching a drop of nectar from your lotus feet brings remembrance even for the bad yogis who have forgotten the truth." It's not yogis, but it's a yogi. Huh? So, bad yogis who have forgotten the truth, you have just taught away with all this benediction, including liberation. So they don't want even liberation. So then this is another verse. He says that, Lord of auspicious fame, what person having heard by chance just once the auspicious quality in the association of the devotee, what person who knows your quality, which even Lakshmi accept with a desire to completely taste those quality, view of the glorification. Only a animal would do so. Okay. So that way, we completed Moksha Laghutakrt. So now the Krishna Bhakti is Sudurlabha. That is another quality. We saw Klesagni, relief from all material distress. Second is all auspicious. Third is Moksha Laghutakrt. So now we are going to discuss Sudurlabha. Pure devotional service is rarely achieved. So two reasons why pure devotional service is rarely achieved. Because we cannot attain it by our own efforts. And second is Krishna is reluctant to give it. Why Krishna is reluctant to give it? Because as soon as Krishna gives pure devotional service, he becomes puppet in the hand of his devotee, in the hand of his pure devotee. That's why Krishna doesn't give the pure devotional very easily. He becomes puppet. Just like you saw Sudama Brahman just offer a morsel of food, chipped rice. Then Krishna gave all the opulence to him. So as soon as Krishna awarded him pure devotional service, he become puppet in his hand. So how he become puppet in his hand, we can see in the Vrindavan story. Gopis tell Krishna dance, then Krishna dance, baby in the baby form. Okay, so कृष्णा को डांस करने बोलते तो डांस करते हैं, कृष्णा को बोलते हैं तो रोता है. Krishna become puppet in the hand of pure devotees. That's why it's very, very Sudurlabha. There are two reasons. It can be awarded by only Krishna. We cannot achieve by our own effort. Krishna is reluctant to give it. Okay. So cannot be achieved by one's own effort. So in the preliminary phase of spiritual life, there are different kind of austerity, penance, and similar process for attaining self-realization. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service to the Lord. Not even if one tries for it by such a process for many, many thousands of births. So it is said, even someone keep chanting for millions of births, millions of round, but if Krishna wants that, he doesn't want to award pure devotional service, he has free will, he is free. That is what it is said. What is that? Janmadiyasya Anvayatarasya Abhigya Swarat. He's Abhigya Swarat. He's all knowledgeable and Swarat. He's supreme controller. He's free to do anything. Okay. He's independent. Swarat means he's independent. So it is his will whether he want to give or not. It's very simple. Some boy proposed to girl, red flower leke, I love you. So now that, don't take it that way. So but it's being recorded. So now it's up to girl whether she want to accept or not. But same way for girl propose the boy. It's up to boy or girl whether they want to accept that proposal or not. So same way, Krishna, someone performs so much tapasya, austerity and all those things. It's up to Krishna whether he want to give pure devotional service or someone recommends. So that will come now. Okay. So that is from Nectar of Devotion, page 14. Krishna rarely agrees to offer a soul a devotional service because by devotional service the Lord himself become purchased by the devotee. Himself become purchased by the devotee. So that is a so we can see the different example. Krishna became charity for Arjuna. Krishna, Sudama Brahman. Now Mother Krishna, Mother Yashoda is binding Lord Krishna, chasing Lord Krishna. Then there are so many pastimes in Vrindavan. So Lord Shiva again says to Sati. So you know the difference between Sati and Parvati, right? Sati and Parvati are same, but Sati was known before Daksha Yajna, and Parvati was known after Daksha Yajna. So there is a pastime. Sati has given up her body, and then again she takes the rebirth at the house of Parvatraj Himalaya. So that's why she is known as Parvati. So Lord Shiva says to Sati, my dear Sati, if one is very fine philosopher analyzing a different process of knowledge, he can achieve liberation from material entanglement. He can get liberation. Okay. By performance of ritualistic sacrifice recommended in the Veda, one can be elevated to the platform of pious activities and thereby enjoy material comfort of life to the fullest extent. But all such endeavors can hardly offer anyone devotional service to the Lord. Not even if one tries for it by such a process for many, many thousands of births. So Krishna can easily give material opulence, but he doesn't give easily. What? Pure devotional service. That's it is Sudurlabha. He says, Muktim dadati karhachit smanasa bhakti yogam. So Sukdev Goswami also says to Maharaj Parikshit, my dear king, it is Lord Krishna known as Mukunda, who is the eternal protector of the Pandava and the Yadus. He is also your spiritual master and instructor in every respect. He is the only worshipable God for you. So he is the only worshipable God for you. He is very dear and affectionate He is the director of all your activities, both individual and familial. And what's more, he sometimes carry out your order as if he were your messenger. So he's telling Sudhya Goswami also says to Maharaj Pariksit. This is a conversation between okay, yeah. So he sometimes carry out your order as if you are your messenger, my dear king. How very fortunate you are, because for others all these favors given to you by the Supreme Lord would not even be dreamed of. We act like this thing. So Krishna become messenger. You can see this thing. Krishna become charioteer, then Krishna protected Pandavas, even one time from the Durvasa Muni. So by his action, Lord Krishna proved that he was more inclined to the Kuru dynasty than the Yadu dynasty. Indeed, Lord Krishna indebted to the Pandavas devotional service, sometimes acted as their messenger, and he guided them through many dangerous situations. By his actions, Laksha Guru protected them, right? By his action, it clears that liberation is not very important for the devotees. Lord Krishna easily gives one liberation, but he does not so easily give one the facility to become a devotee. So that's why it is too durlabha again. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Brahmanda bhavite kona bhagyavanaji, Guru Krishna prasade pai bhakti lata beej. So only solution is the mercy of pure devotees. So how someone can achieve bhakti? By the mercy of pure devotees. So according to their karma, all living entities are wandering throughout the entire universe. Some of them are being elevated to the upper planetary system. Some are going down into the lower planetary system. Out of many millions of wandering living entities, one who is very fortunate gets an opportunity to associate with bona fide spiritual master by the grace of Lord Krishna. And by the mercy of both Krishna and spiritual master, such a person receives the seed of paper of devotional service. Guru Krishna Prasad Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. Okay. This is what Jiva Goswami says, that one may not attain pure devotional service because one is performing Mishra Bhakti. So there are other reasons. So his solution to avoid Mishra Bhakti. So we have to perform devotional service with complete attachment to the process. So we have to perform this complete attachment. What is that? Tasmad ekyena manasa Bhagwan Sattvatam Pathi Srutavyasya Kritivasyascha Theya Pujyasya Nityata. Therefore, with one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotee. So, we have to avoid Mishra Bhakti. So, we have to do, this is very important verse, second chapter of first canto. With one pointed attention, one should constantly hear about, glorify, remember, and worship the personality of Godhead, who is the protector of the devotee. So, one pointed attention. And again it is said, one should worship Krishna exclusively. Akama sarva kamova moksha kamo udarithe tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta samparam. A person who has broader intelligence, whether he be full of material desire, without material desire, or desiring liberation, must by all means worship the supreme whole, the personality of Godhead. So exclusively we have to worship Krishna. Not that अरे हमें कुछ क्या बोलते हैं सुंदर बहुत सारा धन चाहिए तो लक्ष्मी जी की पूजा करो. Sorry, बहुत सारा क्या बोलते हैं. Someone wants to free from the disease, then they worship sun god and all. Someone wants rain, then they worship Indra or whatever. So no, exclusively we have to worship Krishna. So this is a fifth characteristic, Sundarananda Visheshatma. So Pure devotional service automatically puts one in the transcendental pleasure, incalculable condensed bliss. No other thought can even momentarily register in the devotee's mind in this stage. Very transcendental. कुछ और जाएगा ही. It says that if Brahmanand means, or the happiness becoming one with the Supreme, so liberation, it's multiplied by 1 trillion fold, it still cannot compare to atomic fraction of the happiness derived from the ocean of devotion. मैंने तो million बोला था, it's like million into millions. So that is the ratio of happiness. That is a fraction of happiness we get by Brahmanand. So he says that, my dear Lord, Prahlad Maharaj says to Narasimha Dev, so my dear Lord of the universe, I am feeling transcendental pleasure in your presence and have become merged in the ocean of happiness. I now consider the happiness of Brahmanand to be no more than the water in the impression left by the cow's footprint in the earth compared to this ocean of bliss. When Prahlad Maharaj is saying that happiness derived by impersonal liberation is very small, tiny. It's like a big ocean and the water in the cow's footprint. Cow's footprint, पता है ना, जैसे काव के पैर का निशान होता है, उसमें पानी भर दो, एक तरफ समुद्र रख दो. समुद्र कितना विशाल है, और what is the size of cow's footprint? Very small. Water, how much it is? So that happiness derived by Brahmanand is this much compared to the happiness derived by the ocean of devotional service, ocean of bliss. So it is incalculable condensed bliss. So Siddhar Swami says in Bhagavad Deepika, the commentary on Srimad Bhagavatam, so my dear Lord, some of the fortunate persons who are swimming in the ocean of pure nectar of devotion and who are releasing the nectar of the narration of your pastime certainly know ecstasy which immediately minimize the value of the happiness derived from dharma, artha, kama and moksha. Again, these are the statements from the Shastra that happiness derived from dharma, artha, kama, moksha is much lesser compared to the happiness derived from the devotional service. Such a transcendental devotee regards any kind of happiness other than devotional service as no better than straw in the street. Okay. So Mukundas writes about 3 types of ananda in the path of self-realization: Brahmananda, Swarupananda, Swarup Shakti Ananda. So it is a state of calm, state of variationless, blissful, tranquil. It's an unpolished diamond. Swarupanand, one has the delight of the realizing eternal perfection. It is active realization. Polished diamond. Swarup Shakti Anand, higher delight of Vaishnavas, which he enjoys in the presence of the Lord. So one is Brahmanand, merging with the Supreme Lord, is compared to unpolished diamond. One is Swarupanand, one has delight of the realizing his eternal perfection, means he has realized that he is a servant of the God, but he is not directly connected with the Lord. So that is called polished diamond. The Swarup Shakti Ananda, so he is like, higher delight of Vaishnavas, which he enjoys in the presence of the Lord. So directly interact with the Lord. So levels of happiness are there. In the Subhada also you get happiness. Of course, so every level there are happiness. If you see, when Klesagni goes, you feel happiness because miseries are going. In Subhada, because it's becoming all auspiciousness, you feel happiness. In Sadhan Bhakti, So is superior to happiness of sense gratification or liberation. So Moksha Laghutakrt in Bhav Bhakti minimize the value of sense gratification or liberation. So in Sandrananda Visheshatma, so incalculably superior to that one cannot even perceive the existence of sense gratification or liberation. So in this state, nothing will enter, nothing other things other than service of the Lord can enter in the mind of devotee. That's what we discussed, right? No other thoughts can enter in the mind of devotee in this state. Sundarananda Vishesatma. Okay, so it is Sri Krishna Akarshini. So this is a final characteristic. Sri Krishna Akarshini. Sri Krishna Akarshini. So it's even attracting to Lord Krishna. So pure devotional service is the only means to attract Krishna. Okay. So Srila Rupa Goswami stated that devotional service attracts even Krishna. Krishna attracts everyone, but devotional service attracts Krishna. So Krishna, very good meaning of Krishna is all attractive. But that very attractive personality himself is being attracted by devotional service. So who is the highest degree of symbol of devotional service? It's Radharani. So Krishna is called Madan Mohan. So, okay, and he is attracted by personification of highest devotional service, Srimati Radharani. So Madan Mohan is attracted by Radharani. So that's why his name is Madan Mohan Mohini. Her name is Madan Mohan Mohini. Radharani's name is Madan Mohan Mohini. So Radharani is the personification of highest devotional service. So Krishna is even attracted by devotional service. So definitely is attracted by Radharani. So Krishna is known, even attracts Cupid. So Madan. So who attracts Cupid means Madan Mohan. And who attracts Krishna is Madan Mohan Mohini. So therefore devotee call her Madan Mohan Mohini, the attractor of Cupid. Okay, so to perform devotional service means follow in the footsteps of Radharani and devotees in Vrindavan. And devotees in Vrindavan put themselves under the care of Radharani in order to achieve the perfection in the devotional service. So I think 2 days ago I was reading a conversation between Ramanand Rai and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So where Ramanand Rai mentions that the gopis didn't want to directly serve Krishna. So they want to help Radharani to serve Krishna. So when Radharani saw that, Radharani wanted that they directly serve Krishna. Sometime Radharani make a plan to so that they can directly go and interact with Krishna. So that should be the mode, We put others forward in front of Krishna and others put us in front of Krishna. So we have to follow the footsteps of Radharani. So being directly under the control of the internal potency of Krishna, devotional service attracts even Krishna himself. So although the goddess of fortune Lakshmi Devi is adored by other youthful goddesses who are themselves glorified throughout all the universe, still she is nowhere near Sri Radhika in the matter of beauty, praiseworthy youthfulness, or the divine feminine opulence. There is no one in the material or spiritual world superior to Radhika in the expression of naturally loving pastime. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service of her lotus feet. And again, she is very learned in the many transcendental arts, such as performing in the rasa dance, singing, joking. She is decorated with many divine qualities, such as loving nature, exquisite beauty, and wonderful garments and ornaments. Even among the cowherd themselves of Raja were praised by the entire universe. She is the best in every way. May Sri Radhika bestow upon me the service her own service of her own lotus feet. So what happens when we take a shelter of Srimati Radharani? We get a protection. So like the same way we take, although we have got Krishna's quality, still we sometimes fall down. So we require protection. Therefore we chant Hare Krishna, not alone Krishna. We first of all take the shelter of Krishna's energy, Devi Maya Radharani. So Hare is the Devi Maya Radharani. Then we chant the name of Krishna. In Vrindavan they chant Radhe Krishna, Jai Radhe. So if we take a shelter of the Devi Maya Radharani, then she will give us intelligence in such a way that we can take a shelter of Krishna perfectly. So this is the lecture delivered by Srila Prabhupada at Bombay in 1975. So we should worship Radharani first. That is our business. Instead of offering directly one flower to Krishna, you just put it in the hand of Radharani. So my mother Radharani, Jagannatha, if you kindly take this flower and offer it to Krishna. That's what we, even while we offering bhoga to Krishna, what we do, we tell, pray to spiritual master that I'm not qualified to offer this bhoga to Krishna. So please take this bhoga and offer it to Krishna. So we give it to qualified person who is qualified to interact with Krishna. So that the whole parampara goes Guru into Guru's Guru, his Guru, his Guru, his Guru, then Radharani. So Radharani is most happy to offer your service to Krishna. Okay. Radharani says, oh, you have brought a flower. Again, Prabhupada has given this lecture. So this is what we saw. There are 6 characteristics of devotional service, pure devotional service. Kesagni, Subhada, Moksha Laghutakrt, Sudurlabha, Sandrananda Vishesatma, Sri Krishna Akarshani. Okay, so thank you very much. So just Kesagni, relief from material desire. So just what we discussed. Okay, thank you very much. So tomorrow we'll start with first stage of devotion, Vaidhi Sadhan Bhakti. So if you have any question, comment, feedback.